Klasak. Greetings, you magnificent specimen of a human being. You're watching this channel. Today we're going beyond classified to reveal the shocking, untold story of Project Blue Book. It all started right here. After World War II, reports of strange objects in the skies began to flood in. In 1947, the Air Force created Project Sign to study these mysterious sightings. But when the findings suggested some UFOs might be real, the project was shut down and replaced with Project Grudge, a more skeptical approach. Finally, in 1952, the government launched Project Blue Book. Its official purpose was simple: determine if UFOs were a threat to national security, and explain the growing number of reports. But behind the scenes, the real mission may have been something very different. Not just investigation, but public control. In today's segment, we'll reveal the astonishing revelations of Project Blue Book. Some people say it was a noble attempt to seek the truth. Others claim it was a sinister plot to keep humanity in the dark. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Between 1952 and 1969, Project Blue Book collected more than 12,000 UFO reports. The Air Force concluded that most could be explained as weather balloons, aircraft, or optical illusions. But here's the catch. 701 cases remained unsolved. Cases with multiple witnesses, physical evidence, and even radar confirmation. If it was all just imagination, why were so many cases left unexplained after nearly 2 decades of study? Now, let's take a deep dive into one of the most famous incidents in UFO history. Let's go back to Roswell. 1947, the crash that sparked the modern UFO era. On July 8, the Roswell Army Airfield announced the recovery of a disc through the local newspaper. It said this: the sheriff of Chaves County, Wilcox, has announced the discovery of a large piece of metal resembling a section of a disc on the ranch of one of his herders 7 miles north of Corona, in the southern part of the county. The herder brought the debris into Roswell for examination, and it is now in the possession of Major J. Morris, post commander of the Roswell Army Airfield. Quickly enough, the military came out with a press release, this time from Walter Haught, the public information officer at the base. He said the Roswell Army Airfield has been advised by special order that one of the local ranchers has found what appears to be a rather substantial piece of equipment which seems to be of a metallic nature. It is obviously of some type of a disc shape. The local sheriff and the sheriff's office are now in possession of the find. By noon, excitement was building. Reporters were swarming all over the Roswell Army Airfield, eager to get the scoop on this alleged alien spacecraft. But within 24 hours, the story changed. The military issued a second statement, admitting the disc was not extraterrestrial. It was just a weather balloon. For decades, the incident was labeled a hoax, a misunderstanding, a balloon that looked like a flying saucer. But hold on a minute. What if the truth is more bizarre than any lie? Witnesses, including military personnel at the scene, swore they had seen something far stranger than a balloon. They saw a wreckage with unusual properties, and even bodies. That brings us back to Project Blue Book and its surprising findings. Did the government really solve the mystery of Roswell? Or is there more to the story? Keep watching to uncover the secrets hidden in plain sight. A few months later, the United States was buzzing again with talk of UFOs, but this time it was closer to home. In July of 1952, the skies over Washington, D.C. lit up with mystery. Radar operators detected unidentified objects flying over the nation's capital. The U.S. was on high alert. Tensions were high during the Cold War, and any unidentified object in the sky set off alarm bells. Fighter jets were immediately dispatched to investigate, and what they saw was nothing short of astonishing. These flying things were moving way too fast. They were making sharp turns that would make any modern jet fighter blush. They were just hovering in place. It was like they were mocking the best the U.S. military had to offer. Newspapers went wild, with headlines like "Flying Saucers over Washington" and "Glowing discs in the sky." Panic spread like wildfire across the public. People were afraid. They didn't know what to make of these mysterious flying things. Even President Truman got involved, demanding answers. And that's when Project Blue Book sprang into action. It was the perfect cover-up, their explanation. A simple temperature inversion. A weather effect. Now don't get me wrong, temperature inversions can be quite a sight. When warm air sits above cooler air, it can cause some pretty wild optical illusions. But come on, are we really supposed to believe that this was the cause of all the commotion? Those flying things that turned like a fighter pilot, accelerated faster than a dragster and hovered like a drone. Yeah, right. So what else could it be? Now let's delve deeper into the heart of the matter. The eyewitness testimonies. Because, what do they say? Well, first off, we have the military men and women who saw these UFOs firsthand. They describe metallic discs that glided effortlessly through the air, outmaneuvering their jets with ease. But it gets weirder. Radar operators added their voices to the mix. They tracked these objects on their screens as they sped across the sky, accelerating in ways that defied the laws of physics as we know them. Now, you might be thinking, well, radar can be tricky. Maybe it was just picking up some random blip on the screen. Right, wrong. These objects were also seen on multiple radars, not just one. And they weren't just some random blips. They were tracked, followed, and cataloged. If this was a hoax, it was the most elaborate one in history. But here's where it takes a turn for the weird. Many insiders came forward with disturbing tales. They said that their reports were often dismissed without investigation. Certain files seemed to vanish into thin air, and there was pressure. Pressure from higher-ups to explain away the unexplainable. Now, that sounds pretty shady if you ask me. Why would the government want to sweep these sightings under the rug? Was the truth really so terrifying that they'd rather we didn't know? And then, just like that, Project Blue Book was officially shut down in 1969. The Air Force gave a simple explanation. UFOs pose no threat to national security, and there is no evidence of extraterrestrial craft. Case closed. End of story. Right? Not so fast. Because behind the scenes, the truth was far from simple. Documents that were once top secret revealed a different story. Despite the public denials, both the Air Force and the CIA kept digging. They continued to study the UFO phenomenon. They just didn't call it Project Blue Book anymore. They buried those files in classified projects with names we don't even know. This brings us to a chilling question. Was Project Blue Book a genuine scientific investigation into the unknown, or a sinister plot to keep the lid on one of the biggest mysteries of our time? Is the truth really out there, or has it been suppressed by those in power? Are those 701 unexplained cases proof that we are not alone in this vast universe, or evidence of something even more terrifying? Here's what I think. Project Blue Book was a response to a cultural moment. After Roswell, UFOs were in the public consciousness. We were on the brink of space travel and people wanted answers. The government created an investigative body to address this cultural moment, but also to control the narrative surrounding UFOs. That's why there were so many reports of UFOs being merely weather balloons or misidentified planes. The investigation was often done before the actual investigation. Think about it. If there was an unidentified flying object in the sky, it made sense to check if it was a threat. A quick investigation showed that it was a balloon, a plane, or a weather phenomenon. So that's what it was classified as. I mean, doesn't that make sense? But sometimes, the reports were inconclusive. Sometimes there was no logical explanation for what was seen in the sky. Those reports were quietly buried, never to be seen in official reports. That brings us to the real reason why the government created Project Blue Book. To reassure the public that they were safe and that everything was under control. That's why those in power swept the sightings under the rug. It wasn't because they didn't want to admit the possibility of extraterrestrial life. They didn't want to scare the public or cause mass panic. Or maybe, just maybe, they knew something we don't know and they wanted to keep it hidden. What do you think? Leave your theories in the comments below. Thanks for joining me on this journey to the edge of the unknown. Together, we've uncovered the hidden truths and explored the deepest mysteries of our world. But our journey doesn't end here. There's still so much more to discover, so much more to explore. Join me next time as we continue to peel back the layers of reality and uncover the secrets that lie beyond our understanding. Until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep seeking the truth. Because the truth, as always, is out there waiting to be found.